The Prime Minister, meantime, has opened his APEC talks by meeting the Indonesian President, Subianto. Earlier, I caught up with our colleague Andrew Clennell, Political Editor in Lima, and there was plenty to discuss, including the incoming Trump administration and what it means for a range of issues, including on responding to climate change.
Absolutely, and trade tariffs as well. And you think that Malcolm Turnbull and Scott Morrison managed to talk Donald Trump down on trade tariffs against Australia. So there's a task there for Anthony Albanese to do the same. And on climate change, well, Anthony Albanese got kind of a difficult question this morning, which was basically, well, is there any competitive advantage we get from Donald Trump being elected? And his answer to that a couple of times was, well, if they pull back from those Inflation Reduction Act measures, that subsidising, if you like, pushing forward the renewable energy technologies, and we stick with it, we've got an advantage there.
Certainly, we see that Australia has great opportunity through climate action. We see that it's important for our environment, but I also see it as about economic opportunity. We have all of the resources under the ground that will drive the global economy in the 21st century.
Donald Trump is not there, but he continues to overshadow the summits. The Prime Minister is, however, going to be meeting the Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Yes, and look, they're not confirming it. You'll see that here, but it seems pretty obvious that'll occur, and the suspicion is that'll happen when we get to Brazil and the G20. I think it'll be the third bilat between the two. It does raise questions too, though, about will the Prime Minister make an effort to see Donald Trump anytime soon? And his answer is, well, I've got to be in Parliament next Thursday, so no, I'm not moving from South America up. We don't get a trip to Florida, unfortunately, Kieran. But he also, it's limited from here if we have an election in March or May, isn't it? Might have to wait for an Australian PM to meet Donald Trump after the next election. All Anthony Albanese would confirm is, look, we've agreed we'll meet as soon as practicable, but one wonders when that would be when you think about an Australian election campaign. On the other hand, surely it's in Australia's interest to meet Donald Trump as soon as practicable. So here was the Prime Minister on potential meetings with Xi and Trump earlier. Will you be meeting President Xi?
One more. Well, we'll make announcements at appropriate times. I'll have a meeting with President Trump when it is organised.
So we will see what happens, Andrew, but as you say, the timeline is very tight between now and the next election.
Look, it certainly does, and I mean, it's just crazy how someone who isn't here, who hasn't been inaugurated, is the subject of every leaders' meeting, is the subject of all discussion, including in press conferences or what have you. It really is the summit before the summit, isn't it? So, you know, they'll have to wait till next year for a G20 in South Africa, of course, for that particular forum. But I'd say every leader around the world pretty keen to talk to Donald Trump and see where he's at and see what they can get away with in terms of any sanction as he looks inward. It's a fascinating year ahead for the world, and there's a reason why Donald Trump is dominating every news service at the moment, including ours.
Andrew Clennell joining us from Lima, Peru. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.